in reality, there really isn't a work-life, personal life balance. And people that think there really is are those people that don't sacrifice what we sacrifice to get to that point.
But when we look at where are people spending their time and how they're generating their dollars and the time that they spend, they say they don't have the time to free up because they got to go make the money. But it's like, well, you're wasting your time on doing a bunch of bullshit tasks that are way below your pay grade.
Well, I can tell you one of my least favorite things, and it probably goes for a lot of owners and higher level managers or whatever, is I hate managing people. I don't want to say you're an idiot if you don't do it, but like, I feel like I was an idiot for not doing it.
Welcome to the Eventually We're Getting This Discussion Started podcast today. We've been sitting here for a couple minutes, and I cannot believe how long it took us to get this started because the amount of people coming up to talk to both of you. But this is something where sitting here, we're going to talk about like time and the value of our time and roofing contractors' time. And it was like sitting right here. Sometimes we're getting to these end of the day, just like a roofing contractor, been in a conference all day and you're like, man, I'm ready to be done. I wish I could take a little bit of a break. And this is what I want to ask you guys is like, when's the last time you had a chance to take a break in your business and take a day off? Like, when's the last time you had a 3-day weekend?
Well, I'm telling you right now, I think it's hilarious because like you said, we're 15, 20 minutes from end of the day here at I.D.E.A day 2. And Chris has got a line of 7 people over here, and I'm getting people talking to me over here, and we're trying to help them out and give them as much knowledge as we got. But for us, for our 3-day, to answer your question, I mean, that's why I look forward to the off season of the winters as my off season. But reality is, and Chris and I were talking about this earlier, this is actually probably our busiest part of the season because we've got so many people that are trying to invest themselves into it. And then you got other people that think they know everything, huh? We just dealt with that one.
Wait, you guys get days off?
Right?
When no one told me that. Yeah, when's the last time I had a 3-day week or weekend?
Yeah.
My wife's standing right here, by the way, behind the camera. I haven't had a 3-day weekend in God knows how long. I remember I was on Dimitri's podcast, and he asked me, Chris, with Master Your Craft and At Your Service Roofing, how do you have any balance? And I said, well, that's easy. I don't. There's no such thing as balance. And not to mention, what he didn't know is that John and I still have 2 other companies. I have my real estate. I have another company. And so there is no balance. If you want to be, I think truly successful, if you want to have a lifestyle that's a little bit different than the norm, like there's got to be a sacrifice for it. And so, you got to grind.
That's something that Tiffany and I talk about too is, we go around and we discuss and we talk about work-life, personal life balance. But part of what we discuss is the fact that in reality, there really isn't a work-life, personal life balance. And people that think there really is are those people that don't sacrifice what we sacrifice to get to that point.
Yeah, you can have work-life balance.
It's just different.
Probably not going to have the lifestyle that maybe you want. Like it's one or the other. There are some people who are able to achieve both of those, but you're not talking about the 1%. You're talking about the 0.0001%. Yeah. It's incredibly difficult.
Well, I mean, you guys see it a lot too. I work with a lot of people where they're all grinding for some level of, let's call it income. And they're like, I can't take a day off because I'm not at that level that I need to yet. But when we look at, where are people spending their time and how they're generating their dollars and the time that they spend, they say they don't have the time to free up because they got to go make the money. But it's like, well, you're wasting your time on doing a bunch of bullshit tasks that are way below your pay grade.
And I'm not looking for free time. I'm not looking for off time. I am looking for efficiency. Yeah. I want to maximize the value of my time. I want to get as much done as possible in my time. And I've also come to realize over the years, there are things that I don't like to do. And so I'm not very good at them because I hate doing them. And then there's things that I actually really enjoy doing. And it turns out I'm really good at those because I like doing it. And so wherever I can delegate, I have a concept called I.D.E.A, I.D.E.A, Innovate, Delegate, Eliminate, or Automate. Any task that is not worth my time or isn't a good use of my time, anything that I don't enjoy doing that's not giving me energy or joy or purpose, I got to get that off my plate. And it's through Innovate, Delegate, Eliminate, or Automate that. And you can do one of those 4 or a combination of those 4 things, and you can actually remove virtually everything from the business side of your life that you want to.
Well, we talked a lot about that with where I came from too, and the fact that there's so much that I love doing. I mean, there's so many things that I hate doing. And as a salesman's perspective, as opposed to an owner or something like that, as a salesman, yeah, a lot of people know me for doing $18.5 million a year. However, I've said this a million times. If I had extra time, I could have done 25 million that year. I just didn't have the time to do it. If I would have had somebody there as an assistant to help me, there was no problem, because I literally had 7 million sitting in books over winter for spring that I could have done because I didn't have that time.
Well, and you've heard the phrase, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with the team, right? And it's the same thing. Like, there's only so much you can actually get done. Even if you hardly ever sleep. Trust me, 10 years, I was grinding. I'm in the field, 8 a.m., getting home at 7 p.m., spending an hour or two having dinner with the kids. Then I'm back in my office processing contracts, writing contracts, doing this till 2 a.m, hardly sleeping. Did that for 10 years. And you plateau. There's no more that you can accomplish unless you're able to build a team, unless you're able to find some of those efficiencies.
Well, I think the reality is too, like, if we look at what's our peak performance, if it's just like exercise, which clearly, look at me, I'm Mr. Exercise, but I talk to people who do exercise, and there is importance of rest days. And I think a lot of people, you're not performing your best when you're doing 5 days a week and don't have a time to take a breather or take time off. And what happens, like I had it happen when I was in the roofing business, you guys had the same shit. We're like, all right, I'm going to stop at noon on Friday and I'm going to go do something else and just take a little bit of time. And then what happens? It's 4 o'clock on Friday and you're like, shit, I was just fighting all the fires that I need to put out and close out that week so that I didn't have to get to them next week and wait. And so I think there's a lot of people out there that, like, whether they want more time just to fill it with more revenue generating activities or time to take that breather, the question is, it's just like, how do we find that? Where do we get it? And so that's where I think we come in helping guys like your business, helping your businesses, when the owners are out there looking for more time, whether it is making money or just taking a breather, which it's okay to take a break. That's the stuff that helps you recharge, think through these things. And if somebody else is behind the scenes helping you run the things that are frankly burning your energy, it's like, do I really want to send 500 follow-up emails? No, I don't. That is the last thing I want to do. But if I could fill that time with something else, knocking doors, meeting customers, that's going to light me up and that's going to produce my results for me. Nobody knows where to look. And so this is where I think a business like ours can come in and help a lot of people out there, because they say, hey, I want this. I have this goal, aspiration, dreams where this business could be, but I'm still the one that's grinding it all myself. And so you have to come to terms with the fact that something has to give, whether it's money, time, energy. You've got to give up something to get more of another one. And so if you can say, hey, the time that you spent on those tasks, these are so far below my hourly rate that I'm capable of, I should be paying somebody else to do those tasks for me. And I look at owners who they say, oh, I'm making $300,000, $400,000 a year, but I can't take a day off. And it's like, well, what if you could take a day off? And what does it cost you to take a day off? A couple $100, because you could have somebody that takes 8 hours out of your week off of your schedule. And I know you guys work with a lot of sales guys that it's like, what is their time spent during the week? And it's like, okay, I met with a customer for 30 minutes, but then 3.5 hours of my day is spent chasing adjusters, scheduling things with customers, trying to get adjusters to meet me on site. There's so much stuff that it's literally moving communications behind the scene, and your best performing sales guys are out there running 2 leads a day because they're bogged down with so much other
that's what
bullshit.
we want, right? That's what we want. We want our best sales guys, our 1%, selling roofs. Yep. We don't want them worrying about, I got to put the order in, or I got to invoice, or I got to do accounts receivable. Those are all tasks and things that, be honest with you, we don't want them doing. I'm a high seller, high performer, right? I sell a lot of roofs. Yep. I'm not good at organization as far as accounts receivable, collections, things like that. And any smart owner of a company, and Chris is a smart owner of a company, if I worked for Chris, would Chris say, hey, Dan, I need you to go collect this, and I need you to do AR this?
Our sales people don't even climb roofs. From the day we started up until just in September a few months ago, our entire sales team don't climb roofs. I can find a guy that's comfortable climbing roofs that just wants to do the nuts and bolts, the physical labor part, doesn't want to sell. Fine. That's easy for me to do. Finding guys who can sell is not as easy. Mm-hmm. And so if you can sell, I don't want you doing anything. These guys that have their salesmen collecting checks, like, what are you doing?
Right.
Why in the world would you? That's such a menial task. But I do want to touch on, you talked about basically spending your time on revenue generating activities. I've gotten to the point where I've started looking at more about what is an energy generating activity? Like what brings me energy and keeps me going? I'm at a point now in my career where I've made decent money, and don't get me wrong, I want to keep making good money. But I really would much rather, I'm more worried about how much my energy levels, my passion, what I'm doing, and things like that. And so everything that doesn't bring me joy, doesn't bring me energy, I'm sloughing off. In a big way, that was with you. I will say that my team, I resisted the virtual assistant thing for like 2-3 years.
It's a strange concept. Like,
well, my thing was like,
it's like, how am I going to do
so long
it?
to train them that it's not even worth it. And like, yes, eventually it'll be worth it, but I got to go now. I don't have the time right now. And that was it was a short-term mindset in that. And so what I love about SMA, and truly I love this, is that I can find cheaper VAs. But I know I'm going to have to train and fire, and I'm probably going to have to go through 4 or 5 before I find one.
Right.
With SMA, I have the confidence, and now I have the experience with you guys on multiple VAs to back it up, that I'm going to be one and done. My first one is going to be a good one, that they're going to onboard and adapt quickly, and that I can hit the ground running for the most part. And I'm more than happy to pay a little bit extra for that, because I get a tremendous amount of my time and bandwidth back. And I know that I've got my girl, my guy, whatever it is, and we're humming right off the rip.
And I think honestly, I think that's what most owners of companies should feel that way. You would much rather be vetted into one person that you can trust, as opposed to, all right, you're going through and just cycling through 2, 3, 4 different people. The big thing I enjoy is the fact that when we have our person that, or 1 or 2 people that work with us, they're the same people that work with us.
Yeah.
You're not getting 15 different people, automated phone calls and things like that, where you're having to dealing with 15 different people that you don't know who's who, right?
Yep.
You want to work with the person that's going to be part of your system, part of your process. And that's what SMA really helps out. And I really appreciate that part.
Our biggest struggle with SMA was finding enough tasks for them to do. We give them, here, we want you to do this. And they're like, good, got it done. Now what do I do? And we're like, okay, well, like now we do this. Okay, boom, we got, and we go, no, we need, and they're like, yeah, we're doing it on repeat. And then like it was taking us a little bit of bandwidth just to task them with enough stuff. And so we tried it out that first one. And, you know, I'm going back to my sales leader, my general manager. And I'm like, you know, how's that going? They're like, oh, buddy. And I'm like, well, who takes care of this? And they're like, oh, you know, the VA does that now. I was like, really? That's awesome. Well, I thought they were doing this and this. And they go, no, they do that too. And I go, are you kidding me? I go, who's taking care of this? And they're like, oh, they do. And I go, how many did we get? How many VAs did we get? Right. And he goes, no, we still have one. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And it's just always that, like, we get that look where you look at it and you both get like the big eyes, like, yeah, dude, it's so. And then I immediately was like, okay, great. If they're this good, I got a personal virtual assistant who that onboarding's a lot slower, but that's my fault, not hers. Yep. I'm the one being the choke point there. But my biggest thing now is like, what was I doing 3 years ago? Well, that was so dumb. You know?
Well, and then you look back too, it's like all those weeks where you're like, dude, I was working 60-hour weeks, I was working 70-hour weeks, and you look back, how did I spend my time during a lot of those weeks? And you're like, that was...
Well, I can tell you, Dan and I are still going to put in the 60, 70 hours. Yeah, I mean, we're just going to do it on better things.
Exactly.
But if you want the work-life balance, if you want the downtime, like there's nothing wrong with that. I'm a big believer in rest, and that's all fine. I just don't think that's going to be our mindset.
Yep.
So you can get that too.
Well, this is some of the stuff like you were talking about where towards the end of the process, getting your money faster at the end of the job, where we have so many people that say, I don't even care if they're only working 20 of the 40 hours because they just saved me so much money by getting this, my accounts receivable within a week. Like I got paid on these jobs within 7 days. Great. That's all I wanted to focus on because that is bringing me so much more cash flow right into my business that I can now use. And so then it's a matter of us going in and saying, hey, Chris, poking you, bugging you and saying, okay, I want to add something else. Let me stack it up and on their plate. And that's where I think for the people that are maybe earlier in the journey, it's like trying to figure out how could I make this happen? How could I start this? I would say reach out to me. Like I would be happy to send people a book, Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell. There's a couple exercises in there. Build your perfect week, build your time and energy audit and see the stuff you spend your time on. How much revenue does it generate for you? And more importantly, what energy does it give you?
I tell you, once you start seeing the results, you're going to start going, where else can I implement this? Where else can I? And the next thing you know, I mean, it's like wildfire. And now, I mean, you can really be humming.
Well,
It's been a game changer.
What's cool for us too is that we support a lot of different size businesses. So we've got guys where it's a one-man owner who just has a VA that they're doing everything in the back office for them. We have some other businesses where we're staffing over 15 people to it, and they're really all throughout the mix of process, kind of in their own teams of it. But it's flexible to meet like where you need in your size of your business. There's probably similar problems that every roofing business is facing, and so it's just a matter of getting a body in that seat to help you take it off of your plate.
We just opened a branch in Cleveland last year, and I can tell you that opening locations is just greatly easier. I'm talking like 70% easier when I have VAs. Now I know our model's built where I really only have to have a production and sales, and everything else can be done through virtual assistants. And so I can start popping locations much, much easier. And that's been a real blessing as well.
Tony just said the same thing. We just did open in St. Louis, 3 days ago? And he said that's 100 times easier. Now everything's focused on this is their job, this is what they do. And we're running production and sales, to be honest with you, from Minnesota. And we just have 8 sales reps and a team lead down there, and they're going to roll that. And everything's going to be facilitated through because our processes are all the same through SMA.
So what would you say if there's anybody out there who's like thinking, why didn't I do this sooner? What would you tell yourself from 2 years ago, 3 years ago? Hey, Chris, here's why you need to start this sooner and why you shouldn't wait.
Well, there's it's low risk, high reward, right? And so this could be a game changer. I think it will be. And what's the risk? Are the contracts, how long are the contracts?
30 days, month to month.
Right, 30 days. So you're investing X dollars for 30 days. That's a low risk. If this thing sucks, I can bail and pull the plug right away. And so there's just, when you look at risk reward, it's all there. So you're just kind of, I don't want to say you're an idiot if you don't do it, but like, I feel like I was an idiot for not doing it. And so I think that my answer is there's very low risk. There's potential for very high reward. Like, take the shot. It's the same thing I tell people with Master Your Craft. It's so it's $1,000. If you get in there and you don't like it, it's not for you. This is all a scam, whatever you think, then you're out $1,000. But it could actually revolutionize your business. So why wouldn't you take that shot? And I think that's the same play.
Well, it's huge. I mean, and that was the big kicker for us. As soon as you heard 30 days, well, yeah, it's 30 days, but implement it, try it, and give it a chance. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I'm guessing very rarely do you have somebody jump in for 30 days and leave right away.
Yeah, right. Because we look at it's like, here's 5 items that I know you should be doing. And if nobody in your business is doing it, you're not rehashing old leads. You're not responding to your leads in the first minute. You're not, calling all of your accounts receivable to get paid. Like, there's so many ways to add value, and maybe owners are just not understanding where else could I deploy them.
I think
where we can say, hey, I'll point these out to you and find if the money's going to make sense.
I think a huge aspect of SMA that a lot of people don't know that I think they should is the fact that, yes, let's say you have one VA that's helping you out in your process and systems, and all of a sudden that huge storm hits. Well, you can always add 2, 3, 4 VAs to help you, roll through that storm process. But let's say it's a slowed down period. Well, are you going to keep 4 VAs busy when you're slowed down to the max? Well, then you can cut back down to 1 or 2 again. And they can grow with you, and they can come back down with you. And it's one of those things that a lot of people don't understand. They think once you have 1 VA, that's it. Or once you have 4, you have to stay with 4, which I think that's a huge aspect, because if you can grow and
you can't do that with a team.
No.
I don't want to train guys up and then I got to lay them off when we're slow.
Right.
And then we get busy again, and they don't want to come back because we laid them off. And now I got to get new guys and train them. But VAs, you can do that. But I really love the point that you were making, that if you're a roofing company owner, or you're a general manager or a sales manager or whatever, you're thinking, okay, I'm going to get the VA to do this and this. But because you guys work with so many roofing companies, you're like, hey, we can do this, or hey, we also do this. You guys were doing something for us. And I remember you guys found a real problem in our process. And I was like, well, how do we do it? And they go, the VAs did it. And I said, well, who asked them to do it? And they're like, nobody asked them to do it. They found this on their own and started asking us about it. And I was like, oh, God, like that. Okay, like, cool.
Well, and back to your point earlier about like the price that you pay with us versus going on an Upwork and hiring somebody yourself. Us as a business owner, it's like when I was running a roofing business, I was like, dude, I don't have the skill set, the time, or the energy to train and hire and all of this. And what ends up happening, if we get people that are good and they're in an admin seat in our business, if they're good, what are you doing? We're promoting them. If they're bad, what are you doing? You're firing them. Either way, that person's probably not staying in that seat. And so you have this revolving door where there's always that weight on your shoulders or somebody on your team to be the one to hire, to train, to screen, to do all this. And that's where we are trying to make this as easy as possible for people, because we know the headaches that go into it. How many people you speak to say, I hired 4 sales guys and then I'll keep 2 to hopefully keep 1 eventually. And it's
4?
Like, yeah. If you're lucky, it's like,
It's like 4.
They're closing at 25% on hires. Like,
Right.
Well, I can tell you one of my least favorite things, and it probably goes for a lot of owners and higher level managers or whatever, is I hate managing people. This guy's emotions are affecting my decision making and my time and whatever it is. And so when it comes to VAs, I don't have to manage them emotionally. I don't have to, you know what I mean? I don't have to manage them as people. I have to task them, not manage them. And that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. I can't tell you how much time I spend and burn and waste putting out emotional fires or things like that. And that goes away completely.
Well, it sounds like we're getting booted out of here. They're closing the floor down. So we're going to let Chris finish it off with SMA and round us out here.
Yeah, so anybody out there, if you guys are friends with Dan, Chris, and you trust them, trust their network, you guys can reach out to me, reach out to them. But this is something where truly we would be happy to talk. And I love sharing ideas of maybe you don't need a VA to do it. Maybe you have people in your business who can already do this, but you just need help kind of figuring out a couple tasks that could really swing the needle. Let's set up some time and talk, because worst case, I leave you with a few ideas that you can actually walk away and implement in your business tomorrow. And it's not a matter of finding some new shiny object. It's just a matter of the basic blocking and tackling of selling. So
Then the cool part is you're not going to pressure sale them.
No.
You're just going to explain it, talk, and tell them, and let them figure it out if it's something for them, which is huge.
Come to me with some problems. Let's talk about how we solved it for other people. And if it's something that we can support it and you need the people, great, I'm happy to help. But I'm more focused on sharing ideas and helping people understand a lot of the tools, the processes and technologies that are out there that we're already helping other roofers use and support. And I think us being a resource of, hey, if you have questions about other items that aren't VAs or technology we're supporting, reach out and let's talk about that and see what we can do to help.
Well, thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate both of you.